Pokemon's 30th anniversary set is possibly one of the best sets that we have ever gotten, and there's no question about that. But the question still remains, what is going to happen to the Pokemon market after the hype for the 30th anniversary set has come and gone? Are we going to continue to the 2-year bull run that we've been on, or are we about to enter a big Pokemon market crash? Well, in today's video, I'm not going to just give you my opinion. Instead, I'm going to lay out 3 possible market scenarios for you guys, and then at the very end of the video, let you know which one of those scenarios I think is most likely to happen and why. And on top of that, before we get into the main part of the content today, I want to discuss that the channel is having a 100 subscriber giveaway that's going on right now. The winner is going to be picked as soon as the channel hits 100 subscribers, and the giveaway is going to be for an Ascended Heroes booster box. And if you'd like to enter that giveaway, you can do so right here, right now. It's as easy as going down below, hitting that subscribe button, hitting the like button on this video, and going down into the comments section and commenting the word giveaway. Let's jump right into the content now with the bull case scenario is what I'm calling it. This would be the everything wins scenario if everything basically goes right. So I have some notes in front of me, so if you see me looking down periodically throughout this video, that is why. I just want to make sure that I am giving you the best information, the best that I possibly can. All right, let's jump right into it. So what would the everything wins looks like scenario look like? Well, step 1, the 30th product would come out, and even though we are getting a bunch of print, because by the way, we are, after we've seen these Pokemon Center drops happen to where they're lasting 7+ hours and people are still hitting on the products on the Pokemon Center alone, we know there's going to be a lot of product. For that much product to be there on the Pokemon Center alone, who knows how much these distributors are going to be getting, but I'm sure allocations are huge. But nonetheless, despite there being a bunch of product being printed through the 30th, demand continues to outpace supply, and we still see the 30th sell out. And then once restocks start to happen, we see those restocks continuously be absorbed, kind of like we see with Ascended Heroes. I mean, think about how crazy people are going for the Ascended Heroes launch that is happening today for the Furious Fighters or whatever big pack is coming out of Sam's Clubs today. If we see that kind of behavior, that would be the first step leading us to believe that, hey, we might be in this crazy everything wins bull case scenario. The next thing that we would see is that the 30th would not only just, keep everybody that's here happy, but it would bring in a bunch more people into the hobby. We're talking new collectors, new investors, new people that have never even heard of the TCG that want to actually play the TCG game would come into the hobby because of the 30th and the word of mouth that's going to be going around. And then once we see that happen, not only are we going to have the supply and demand problem already that we do, but there's going to be now more demand going on after the 30th has occurred, which could lead future sets to sell out even faster, leading to a bigger imbalance in supply and demand, essentially, until we see future print facilities, which at the point which those would actually come on, well, now since we have even more demand with all these new people that got brought in due to the 30th, well, maybe that supply and demand thing, instead of it being that the new print comes on and everything crashes because, there's no way that this is all going to get absorbed, well, rather it just kind of brings us back to where we are right now today, pre-30th, which would mean that we can continue this crazy market cycle. For that to continue to happen, the next thing we'd have to see is, the Mega Evolution era too, throughout the next little while after the 30th, to continue having banger sets like what we're hearing about with Delta Rain. I mean, we don't have a lot of specifics yet, a lot of details yet on the Delta Rain set, but there is a huge chase Pokemon that we haven't had in over, I believe, 5 years since the last Rayquaza set that we've had. So sets like that are going to continue the hype momentum. They're going to continue people moving on, looking forward to future sets in the Mega Evolution era, and that's going to create a lot of hype and a lot of FOMO for people to buy the new upcoming sets. The next thing that we would have to see happen for this everything to win bull market to continue, case to continue, would be that we'd have to see that a buy the dip mentality is really, really indoctrinated. And that even when we get sets like we've had for the last little while with Perfect Order, Chaos Rising, Pitch Black, people kind of look past that and say, you know what, even though these sets aren't that great and maybe the market's fallen just a little bit, maybe it's leveled off, which is really what we've seen is more of just a leveling off. People see that as a buy the dip opportunity and just go in and basically FOMO buy anything else that they feel like is a good buy at that time to continue the grand bull run. So the big things that are going to happen here, 30th is going to sell out if this does happen. 30th is going to sell out. Then we're going to see more people coming into the hobby than ever. Mega Evolution has to turn out to be a great era with a lot of great sets to come in the future, like the Mega Rayquaza set and possibly that tag team set that we're hearing rumors about. And then on top of that, we've got to see a buy the dip mentality continue, so that way people keep on purchasing things even when some mid sets kind of come out between the hype sets. Now, personally, there's a lot of things that have to go right for this situation to really happen. So I would personally say that I'd give this more of like a 25% likelihood of actually occurring. It's not super likely. Could it happen? Absolutely. But this everything wins bull case scenario where everything just continues to go up in a straight line, I don't think is very likely. So what would be the next case? Well, let's talk about the one that nobody likes to necessarily talk about, and that is the bear case scenario. This is the one to where we see the 30th come out, hype is peak, and after that, people's excitement and people's budgets and their wallets become exhausted. And after the money runs out and the hype for the 30th has come and gone, people, are excited for the Delta Rain set maybe, but it turns out there's only one main chase card. It's kind of just another version of like a Chaos Rising or another Pitch Black. And maybe the art on the Rayquaza card is just kind of, it's all right, but it's not amazing either. And people kind of get bored and they start to leave and they say, you know what? This has been crazy. Things are just insane. And I'm kind of over it now that the 30th has come and gone. There's nothing really for me to look forward to. And there's no news that actually makes me excited. And as people start leaving, supply comes on to the market. And towards the beginning of 2027, maybe some of the print facilities start to open up and we start to get more printing of some of the sets that are still in rotation right now. And then that supply hits the market at the same time as we're seeing people who are collectors and investors selling their collection. And then all of a sudden we enter this fear loop of selling and supply hitting the market, and then everybody's going to be undercutting each other, trying to sell their stuff for less than the other guy because they want to get out before the bottom. And that's because it really just becomes a race to the bottom at that point. And we have seen this before. We have seen big falls in the Pokemon market in the past, like this in the past, and so it isn't impossible. I mean, I'm not going to say that it is extremely possible because truthfully, we've seen a lot of people move into this hobby over the last couple of years. There's more people's eyes on this. More people are looking to find a buying opportunity to get into the Pokemon market than ever before. But it's definitely not impossible. So what signs would make me think that we are actually entering this bear case scenario? Well, first thing would be that we would see multiple major reprints for waves after demand actually starts to cool. So if we start to see demand linger off and we start to at the same time hear that, hey, there's big reprints coming for older sets, things like Ascended Heroes, things like maybe another Prismatic wave somehow or some way. And then of course other sets, that were happening towards the end of the Scarlet Violet era, maybe like Pitch Black, or not Pitch Black, but Black Bolt, White Flare. That would be one red flag. Another red flag would be that the TCG player listings would start to increase across many products all throughout the hobby. We'd start to see sealed prices fall, and instead of them just falling and finding a floor and recovering, instead we would start to see them find a floor and then fall again, instead of continuing this stair step up like we've seen in other times that we've had smaller corrections. On top of that, we would also probably see retail inventory start to sit on shelves even for more hype products. So if you start to go into your stores and say maybe they've reprinted Mega Evolution Base, which is super likely, super probable, and you're seeing Mega Evolution Base or Phantasmal Flames booster bundles sitting on retailer store shelves like Target or Best Buy, that's a pretty big red flag that we're in one of these bear case scenarios. Now, do I think that we're likely to see this bear case scenario play out to where everything falls rapidly and we could see a 50+% a market drop over the Pokemon market very quickly? No, I really don't think that that's very likely. There's a lot of independent factors that would happen, and I think that there's a lot of support from the Pokemon community at this point, both collectors and investors, that are going to build a floor underneath it. And so a lot of things would have to align, including likely the broader economy going sour for this situation to really unfold. So for the bear case scenario, I really would only give that probably like a 20% likelihood of happening. So even a little bit less than the bull case scenario. So really, the big bull case and the big bear case, neither of them are super likely. They both could happen, but I don't think either of them are very likely. But if anything, maybe the bull case is a little bit more likely to happen than the bear case. So now let's talk about the base case scenario. So this is what I personally think is going to happen to the market. And this is what I'm going to call a healthy market, okay? So this would look a little bit like this. The 30th anniversary set comes out and people are excited. Demand is there. New investors and new collectors come into the hobby. They want to open, they want to see the new 30th product, and they want to experience the new 30th product. They want to collect it. They want to keep it sealed. They want to do whatever it is that they're going to do with it. And even through that, the demand and the supply still stay somewhat out of balance, but it's not like we're seeing things completely sell out in an instant everywhere for the 30th. Rather, you might find 30th products here or there because, like we mentioned, there is going to be a lot of people, or rather a lot of supply for this set. We know the Pokemon Company is printing a lot of supply for this set. Then after the 30th comes out, we see a little correction, okay? Nothing huge. I'm not talking like, oh, 30, 40, 50% down, but yeah, we see a little correction, okay? We come back, we get hype for the 30th comes up, the market goes up for a little bit, and then it comes down after the 30th hype is done, and maybe we see a 10 to 20% correction to the downside across most products. And then after that, capital does what it's actually been doing leading up to this 30th set, and it rotates. And where does it rotate? It rotates back to maybe some of the older sets, some of the sets that people really want to get their hands on. Stuff like we were talking about with Black Bolt, White Flare, stuff like Prismatic, stuff like Destined Rivals, stuff that you see behind me. Okay, we start to see people rotating back into that. Or maybe we do get some more announcements for some really cool hype sets and we see investors starting to put money away and rotating capital out of 30th to go into those sets next. And it's just a normal correction, but people don't necessarily leave and we don't see this big rushing for the door. Rather, it's just a reallocation, okay? And really what this would look like is the market becoming maybe a little bit more selective over time. Because yeah, the 30th is gone. Our big hype driver, our big thing that we have been looking forward to for the last 2 years is gone now. And until we get closer to the 35th, a huge hype momentum driver like that is really a long ways away. So what is the market going to look like in this scenario? It's going to look more selective. People are going to be after sets that actually have depth, sets that actually have meaning, that have value on a collector basis, and that are going to have value long term. Sets like Destined Rivals, sets like Evolving Skies has been over the last 5 years, sets like Surging Sparks, sets like, I'm sorry to say, Prismatic. Sets that have stuff that people want, frankly. And yes, there are still going to be sets like Chaos Rising. There's still going to be sets like Perfect Order, Pitch Black that are just okay. And we're going to see that dip buy mentality kind of come back like I talked about in the bull case scenario in this one too. But instead of it just being a level off, we might see waves. We might see the market kind of go down, but then, you know, a new hype set comes out and we see a higher high. But I think the biggest difference is that the average product that is just average, isn't going to be an automatic win anymore. For the last few years, it's been that you could go buy any Pokemon product and it was going to go up no matter what happened because it's Pokemon. I think that's going away after the 30th. I think that after the 30th is come and gone, you can't just go buy anything and do well anymore. Instead, now you're going to have to find product that is meaningfully good. It has good quality. The sets are good and people actually want it. The cards are good and the collectors actually want it. And those are the things that are actually going to continue to do well and are actually going to ride the staircase up in a healthy bull market scenario, kind of like we're talking about right now. And this is why I like to do what I do on this channel. If you watch the rest of the content on this channel, you're going to see that we analyze the market. I analyze all the sets going back to the very beginning of the Scarlet and Violet era, and we look at different set values compared to the set era averages to find what products in those great sets are a buy relative to everything else in the market at the time. We analyze this just like you would the stock market. We go through fundamentally, find the fundamental great sets, and then we look for the products within those sets that are intrinsically undervalued based on the depth and the reprint risk and the intrinsic value of the set itself, okay? That's what we do on this channel, and that's why I love to do that, because I think that going forward, and I think that if you implemented this strategy even 2 years ago, you would have yielded greater returns back then if you implemented this strategy 2 years ago. But especially going forward, this is going to be the way that you can continue to capitalize on the Pokemon market as we go into a more normal, a more healthy continuation of a bull style market. Things aren't going to go straight up anymore, but things are still probably going to trend in the upward direction. So what would confirm this scenario? Like, what would this look like if things like this were to actually happen? Well, we'd start to see, strong sets like I'm talking about, even after a pullback, would recover. We'd see them go down and, kind of have maybe a little slump, and then all of a sudden people would throw money back into that set, and we'd see that recover over the course of maybe 6-7 months. It would take patience. It's not going to happen overnight like we've seen before, but we would see recoveries after pullbacks. We would keep seeing that the Pokemon Center themselves would get flooded for launches. So if we continue to see the Pokemon Center selling out after they launch a product on there, and we still have these 10+ hour queues when they immediately go live, it's another good sign that we're still going to be in this healthy bull market. And then on top of that, collectors, rip and shippers continue opening product, meaning that, of course, we get erosion to the existing product that's on the market, helping supply and demand stay more equal. And on top of that, new releases continue to generate excitement. Not saying that everyone has to, but there is something rather out there that collectors and investors can look forward to be excited about. This is where I think we are going. And I would say that I would give this situation, this scenario, a 55% chance of happening. So yeah, it's about a coin toss, but really, I think it's the most likely. Truthfully, both those other scenarios, a lot of things either have to go really right or really bad for it to happen, where this is just more in the middle, okay? Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball. Obviously, I can't predict the future, but really, I think this is what's most likely to happen. And I think this is the content that I wanted and I needed to put out there right now into the Pokemon YouTube sphere, as everyone's creating these videos talking about that the market is falling and that the Pokemon market is screwed and that we are done. It's over. This is it. The jig is up. Guys, I don't think it's over. I don't think it's up. Pokemon's gotten far too big over the last few years for it to just go kaput overnight. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? No. I really don't think so. Anyway, guys, I just want to say thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far through, if you've made it 19 minutes into this video right now, then I want to hurry and say thank you so much for watching this video to the end. I really do appreciate it. Again, if you want to be entered in to win an Ascended Heroes booster bundle, go ahead and enter in the giveaway by hitting that subscribe button, the like button down below, and leaving a comment. Again, just leave the comment giveaway. And if you made it to this point, why don't you get yourself an extra entry? If you've made it to this point, say, I made it to the end, as well as the word giveaway, and you're going to get one extra entry into the giveaway, because I appreciate you sticking around and watching the video all the way through. Not all of you guys do that. Guys, I think Pokemon's just going to keep doing what it's done for decades. It's going to keep making great products. It's going to keep collectors engaged, and the market is going to continue to grow in healthy cycles. This is just kind of a one-on-one real one right now for you guys who have made it this far. Pokemon knows what they're doing. And this is a normal market just like any other market out there, whether you're looking at the stock market or not. It's going to take more than just a 30th set coming and going for there to be a big enough negative catalyst for this market to go completely kaput. All right? There's not a big enough positive catalyst either for the market to go extremely wild after the 30th, as of right now. I'm not saying there won't be, because there's always a chance that we could get an amazing set announced right after the 30th and right after Delta Raid. There is that chance. But guys, as of right now, I think Pokemon's going to keep doing what they've been doing for decades. They're going to keep up the product. They're going to keep people engaged. And we're going to continue to see this Pokemon market grow in a linear way, but in a healthy way, similar to what we've been seeing prior to these last 2 years since 1999. Has there been bumps along the way? Yeah. Have there been crashes along the way? Also, yeah. But what has the Pokemon market done in the long term over the last decades? Guys, you know the answer to that. You guys are real ones. Thank you very much again for sticking around. Do appreciate it. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.